"Kill it!" Talos screamed. "Kill it now!" "I already have once," Malkarian boomed. "I will end you, traitors! I will end you all!" The air between the squads roiled with barely seen heat blurs, and the temperature readings on Talos's retinal displays shot up with sickening speed. The Dreadnought's massive multi-melter, capable of blistering tanks into sludge, was only just warming up. "It's got a vaporizer cannon," Mercutian voxed. "We're dead." "Fine by me, I've had enough of your doom and gloom," Sirion answered. Talos hunched behind his scarce cover, firing his bolter blindly around the corner and speaking into the vox. "This is Talos of First Claw, requesting urgent reinforcements in the aft mortals' decks." The voice that answered was balm to his soul. "Understood, my brother." Many will claim to lead our legion in the years after I am gone. Many will claim that they, and they alone, are my appointed successor. I hate this legion, Talos. I destroyed its world to stem the flow of poison. I will be vindicated soon, and the truest lesson of the Night Lords will be taught. Do you truly believe I care what happens to any of you after my death? The Primarch Conrad Kurz, addressing Apothecary Talos of First Claw, 10th Company. "I will avenge myself!" "You deserve the chance, Ragoel!" With this, each and every one of them. The promise met with general assent. Ocean as the former sergeant rushed the dreadnought with his blade held high. The war machine had turned with unbelievable speed, whirring around on its waist axis, breathing invisible but searing heat from its multi-melter. Adamar's armor baked and split within a heartbeat. The joints melted, the empty warplate clattering to melt into sludge on the decking. Nothing biological remained. Over in a moment. All to save Mercutian and Uzas, who were wounded on the other side of the chamber. Talos had added his bolter fire to cover them, and taken hits from the Blood Angels for his trouble. Were Angels suicidal? To fire a melter weapon within a ship? It was a miracle the hull wasn't liquefied yet, and every one of them torn out into the rushing air. Talos gripped Aurum, feeling his strength waxing again. Good. Not lethal, perhaps. Something was wrong, but it could be dealt with later. The Blood Angels had to be slaughtered, skinned and crucified for their accursed presence on the Covenant. At first, he'd thought the deck shaking was merely more of the atmospheric turbulence. Shells still exploded around his fragile cover, and only when Malkarian strode past, his armored bulk barely fitting within the linking corridors, did Talos realize what was happening. The dreadnought stalked into the chamber, ignoring the small arms fire from the Blood Angels. Revitalized by the War Sage's presence, First Claw's survivors doubled their fire. Astartes, armored in red, died. Mercutian and Sirion went down as well, struck by bolts. Talos felt his newly recovered strength desert him. Back to the wall, he slid down to the decking, clutching his shattered breastplate. The dreadnoughts regarded each other in a moment of almost hilarious calm. "I already have once," Malkarian boomed. The Blood Angel's dreadnought made the same gear-shifting grind of a sound Talos had heard from Malkarian. The Night Lord's eyes fell upon the sarcophagus mounted within the War Sage's new body. There stood the image of Malkarian in life, clutching the three helms. One of these belonged to the Blood Angel champion, Raguel the Sufferer. "Even in death," the Blood Angel growled, "I will avenge myself." "You deserve the chance, Raguel." With power fists crackling, the two war machines did what they were resurrected to do. The fight played out in two worlds, and until his dying night, Talos was never sure which battle he truly witnessed. In the immediate, painful, shaking world of the shallowest senses, the two armored behemoths tore at each other with rotating claws and bludgeoning fists. Ceramite ripped in those mauling hands, and shards of armor flew from the combatants like hail on some blizzard-touched death world. Neither of the suspended corpses saw this, and neither felt it. The walls were gold where these warriors dueled. Both men wore the proud armor of their legion, and both men fought for Terra, one to defend it and die for the Imperium, one to conquer it and kill for the same reason. Their blades spun and struck until both were broken. Then it came down to gauntleted fists and the strength to strangle. Talos watched the dreadnoughts tearing each other to scrap, and saw exactly what the dead men saw.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Well, my goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. I've been down on bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. He spoke to me with a voice so sweet, I thought I heard the shuffle of angels' feet. He called my name and my heart stood still when he said, "John, go do my will. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
Both were broken. Then it came down to gauntleted fists and the strength to strangle. Talos watched the dreadnoughts tearing each other to scrap, and saw exactly what the dead men saw. Carving through the coffin's surface, the tearing teeth offering no respect for the funerary declarations, and acid-etched glories depicted in Balian glyphs. With grunts of effort, the two warriors hauled the sarcophagus's lid away, revealing the pilot within. Their blades had ruptured the inner coffin. Clear amniotic fluid, blood-pinked in patches, seeped from the pierced box in sloshing trickles. Talos stepped on the downed dreadnought's hull, looking down at the limbless, augmented wreck of a human being. "I am Talos of the Night Lords. Nod if you understand me." The slain hero nodded, skin tightening in doubtlessly painful spasms as his life support interfeeds failed. Talos smiled at the sight. "Know this, Blood Angel. Your final mission was a failure. Your brothers are dead. We will wear their armor in battle against your false emperor. And know this also, champion of the 9th Legion. Twice now, the sons of the Night Haunter have seen you slain. Greet the afterlife within the warp, knowing you were too weak to triumph over us, even once. Talos locked eyes with the spasming remnant in its fluid-filled coffin, in a sure grip despite the weakness